man that on the case.
What's going on, everyone? Designedcoma here. Welcome back. And the gameplay you're watching is me playing some Black Ops 3. Got some Domination on Cryogen using the CUDA. So, what's up for today's video? Well, what's going on with this man bun phase, this man bun craze that's going on? I have been seeing man buns like there's no tomorrow lately. It's just, it's the craziest craze that's been going on recently. Next to Pokemon Go, although Pokemon Go is a little bit bigger than that. This man bun thing is just, I don't know. I was at a wedding on Saturday, and there was a guy there that had a man bun. I literally couldn't take my eyes off of it for the longest time, not because I was attracted to it, but because of the fact that it was just weird. It's weird to see that kind of thing on a dude. I don't know, it's just the strangest thing. Now on samurais, it looks pretty awesome because they're samurais and samurais are awesome, but the man bun, look, before you do a man bun, and I'm not putting down people that wear man buns, if you want to wear a man bun, go for it. The thing is ask somebody how it looks, because some guys with man buns, it just doesn't look good. It really doesn't. It just doesn't look good, and it just looks silly. I don't know. It just looks silly to me, and maybe it's just me. Hopefully I'm not upsetting anybody that wears a man bun. To me, it just looks silly. I'm speaking my mind, and I'm letting you know, for me, it looks silly. So, what else do I want to talk about? Well, I want to talk about 20 things only 80s kids understand. Now, I did something about 70s kids, and I want to go through the 80s, and I'm going to try to go through these rather quickly. I won't go too fast. Of course, I grew up in the 80s, and there's a little bit of backstory behind some of these that I will share in terms of my life growing up in the 80s. So number one, the first one up is sugary cereals. Now, this is when sugar was put in everything. It didn't matter. It was just sugar, 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 sugar. I was always on a sugar high when I was in school, and a lot of people in the 80s that grew up in the 80s, they know what I'm talking about. Everything had sugar. We're talking Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We're talking Fruit Loops. We're talking French Toast Crunch. Oh my gosh, that cereal. They brought it back. That is such an amazing cereal. Now a lot of cereals don't have a lot of sugar, which is fine. We don't let our kids eat a bunch of sugary cereals either. We have some, but we keep it limited is what we do. We keep it limited. So sugary cereals, that was definitely a staple. Cassette tapes. Now a lot of the kids of these days probably have no idea what a cassette tape looks like. Maybe they've come across one at a flea market or an antique store wondering what these are. But cassette tapes were the things that you put your mix on, you know, your mixtape. You were making your mixtapes, recording your music on a mixtape, and you would name it, you know, some kind of weird mixtape. I remember doing mixtapes for girlfriends. I know there's some guys out there that remember doing mixtapes for girlfriends that, here, I made this mixtape for you, I hope you like it, you know, and that kind of stuff. So, but mixtapes were definitely a thing. Cassette tapes, you're not going to find those anymore. I mean, you'll find them at some vintage stores. Honestly, everything's digital or CD. Saved by the Bell. This is a television show. I didn't watch this show. Honestly, I could not stand this show. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was the only teenage kid in my classroom or in my class in terms of when I was in school, but Saved by the Bell was just one of those television programs I thought was incredibly dumb for whatever reason. Greg Louganis. Now, this is a guy in the '88 Olympics, and he's a diver. This guy, I remember this guy. He was doing a dive, and he was doing a flip, and he came back and whaled his head on the diving board. Oh, it looked so painful. I mean, to this day, I still remember how terrible that looked when I saw it on TV. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, this is great. John Hughes movies. If anybody knows John Hughes movies, you're gonna know Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, and there's a few others that he did, but The Breakfast Club is one of my all-time favorites. It is just a great movie. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is really good too, but Breakfast Club, hands down, best one. I just absolutely love it. Can't get enough of the Breakfast Club. Muppet Babies. My sister was all about the Muppet Babies. I couldn't stand the Muppet Babies. I don't know. My sister was all about them though. It was a girl thing. VHS players. These things were massive when they first came out. They were just gigantic. And I remember the first time that the CD player came out for movies, and it was like the size of a record, a full-size record player is what those looked like, and the disc was the size of a record. But VHS, Betamax, it had a spot in many homes, but in the 80s it was given the boot by the video home system, the VHS, which brought a little bit smaller cassette. Betamax tapes were just massive. They were huge. The Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial. This is number 8. Everyone watched the Pepsi commercial to see if they could spot exactly when his hair caught on fire, because this really did happen. His hair did catch on fire during the filming of this commercial. Yeah, it wasn't very good for him. It was a little, well, obviously, his hair did actually catch on fire. We Are the World by USA for Africa. This was a sing-along with Bob Dylan, Billy Joel, Michael Jackson, Kenny Loggins, Steve Perry, Lionel Richie, and a bunch of other musicians and singers, and they all did this song. It was called We Are the World. It was basically like a fundraiser type thing for, I think it was hunger in Africa, if I recall. I think that's what it was. So I believe so. But I remember this movie. I remember this song, the video on MTV, and everything. I completely remember it to this day. Just Say No campaign by Mrs. Nancy Reagan. I remember her campaign to Just Say No. It was Just Say No to lots of things like drugs and drinking and smoking. It was mostly focused at drugs. It was definitely Just Say No. E.T. to this day, I don't know, just freaks me out. This little dude freaks me out. He's just one of the ugliest aliens. Not that aliens are supposed to look awesome and cute and everything, but the biggest thing that I think E.T. is known for is for all the video game cartridges that got dumped out in the Mexican desert. I'm sure people are a little bit familiar with that one. The fall of the Berlin Wall. This was an amazing point in history for me, and I got to be a part of it. It was so cool to witness this and be a part of the Berlin Wall coming down. It was just really awesome to see two nations come together. The Goonies, Gremlins, Ghostbusters, and other movies. These are nostalgic classics from the 80s. The Goonies, I still have on DVD. I will tell you right now, I still watch the Goonies. Ghostbusters, hands down. The first movie, the best. The second one wasn't too bad, but the rest, the third one, just, I don't know. I don't even know why they bothered. Should have left it alone. In fact, it would have been better just leaving it at the first one instead of doing 2 or even 3. So yeah, I still get into those movies. I still love the Goonies and Ghostbusters. McGruff the Crime Dog. I remember this dude. Take a bite out of crime. This was a big thing. His commercials on TV, it was just everywhere. Number 15, Garbage Pail Kids. I loved Garbage Pail Kids. I still love Garbage Pail Kids. You can still buy them. The package that I bought, it wasn't as gross as they used to be. I mean, these were some really gross cards that you would collect, just like baseball cards. They were just these kids, and they all had really weird names. For example, I got one here, right? Mia Measles. It's just like this little baby who is holding a sign that says no vaccines. She is just covered in all these measles. But Garbage Pail Kids, they were like the coolest things, and there were stickers too. Let's see, number 16, Hands Across America t-shirt. I don't remember this. Whether you participated in the initiative or not, the Hands Across America t-shirt was a must-have. Maybe I do remember this, but it's not big in my mind right now. I'm really not putting anything onto it. I honestly cannot remember this. Maybe I was too busy doing something else. I don't know. I was in the arcade, I guess. Number 17, pulling the edges off the printer paper. Now, if anybody used a dot matrix printer, they know what I'm talking about. When you had the little perforated edges that has the holes in it, which is what the little wheels in the printer would pull the paper through to print on it, and you had to pull that stuff off, otherwise it was just ridiculous. I don't know if anybody remembers making banners with that paper. If you ever made banners, like a happy birthday banner or something, it was insane, and they're so noisy. They were like the loudest things. Number 18, Madonna, Michael Jackson, and John Bon Jovi. You had a poster of Madonna, Michael Jackson, and John Bon Jovi on your wall. Okay, I did not have a picture of either of these on my wall, but I do have Michael Jackson's Thriller record and Madonna's record. I do have those. I do not have a record of John Bon Jovi, although I did have his CD. Number 19, card catalog at the library. Okay, kids, this is how you do research in the 80s. There was no such thing as plugging onto the internet and going Google and trying to find something and getting what you need off of there. Okay, the card catalog. I'm sure you've seen it at the library. They still have it. It's still there. It's not quite as big as it used to be, I think. Okay, number 20, Star Search. This show ran for such a long time. I don't know. The comment here is you wanted to be on the Ed McMahon hosted show. And all honesty, when I was growing up in the 80s, a little part of me did. It was a little crazy, but think of Star Search like the American Idol of today. It's kind of what it was, and that's how big it was. It was pretty big. So there you have it, guys. 20 things only 80 kids understand, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things we can go over in the 80s. In fact, I know there's tons of things we can go over in the 80s, and these are some of the things that most 80s kids will understand. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like, favorite, subscribe. I don't know about these man buns, guys. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about the man buns. Catch you guys in the next one.
Securing B. Friendly UAV inbound. Be advised, hostile dart inbound. The round's nearly over. Try to redeem yourselves. Hostile UAV spotted. There's no winning this. Black Ops RTB for debrief.
They kicked our asses.
What did you expect? It's a hostile market right now.